when a salesperson go to a CRM system, right there in the contacts page, he sees all the conversation of all the emails exchanged by that contact. So this kind of integration is feasible only by the cloud computing or SaaS world with multiple softwares, it's a silos and the integration is really a nightmare. So all this is possible because cloud computing provides an standard way of integration called service-oriented architecture. I think Amazon has really pioneered this service-oriented architecture. If you click Amazon.com, the page is served from 300 web services. Okay, the Amazon.com page is served from 300 web services. That's a kind of distributed web service that they have, and then they integrate it together. So even of course Gmail, Google, when you click Gmail, it comes from 5 to 6 services. When you go to Zoho, any service, for example, Zoho spreadsheet, it comes from the calculation service is a different web service, the messaging bus is different, everything is different web services. This kind of SOA architecture facilitates the cloud computing to make a better integration and superior integration and makes the life easy for the SMEs. So that's about what are the cloud computing challenges. So what are the concerns SMEs have when trying to, so when you talk about cloud, right, so it is like, from a vendor point of view, it is like one security breach in the cloud can finish off all the trust you earned for years. That's a kind of, it's like a bank, right? So will you able to do a business with a bank when your friend's data has been compromised, right? That's a kind of sensitive issue. The security plays a major role. And any cloud computing vendor has solved the problem with the different levels of security. Okay. Even stepping back from security, people ask, oh, how can I put my data in the cloud? So I think fairly we have overcome that kind of hurdle with the success of Salesforce and Zoho. Of course, we are making tremendous traction, and of course Google Apps. So people are willing to put the data now, but people are questioning about what about the security. So from cloud vendor point of view, we have physical security being hosted in the world data centers, and network security, the secure SSL and auditing, stuff like that. And when it comes to application security, where majority of the pitfall happens, we have a simple dictum: do not trust any input from the user. When the user is trying to put any data into the cloud, any input, just scrutinize 2 to 3 levels. So there's a lot of vulnerabilities, like you can put a malicious script inside a form and that's stored in the database and gets executed in another user environment, and it is vulnerable to take any sensitive information. So cross-site scripting, authentication of URLs, user switching. You can't afford to show a piece of information of user A to user B. You're done. Your business is done, right? A single security breach can finish off the business. So that's a kind of serious challenge cloud computing vendor faces, and that's a concern which very fair concern SME has. I think guys, the SaaS vendors are trying to overcome this this kind of perception. And next important challenge is, when I talk to SMEs, the immediate question is, oh, how about the availability, high availability? How about SLAs, right? So when they have the system running in their IT team, I mean, of course, they have their own downtime and things like that. But when it comes to cloud, they have even more bigger concern. So we have a backup. For example, any SaaS vendor has a backup: daily backup, weekly backup, monthly backup, and disaster recovery sites. We have three copies of redundant data: master, slave, and a site where it is away from the earth-prone zone. So where any earthquake happens, the disaster site will take over as a DR site. So this kind of steps has been taken by the cloud vendors, and of course we try to meet the SLAs, and monitoring is a bigger challenge. You need to really monitor 24/7. Any SaaS vendor has a 24/7 operations team which monitors, manages, ensures the capacity, ensures the availability of the system, predict any failure going to happen. So that's a monitoring part. And compliance is another important concern. People generally ask, okay, are you compliant? How I can trust you? How about if you go out of business? Fair questions, right? So that's where the compliance get into the picture. So any SaaS vendor has to comply with the certification like SAS 70, US Safe Harbor. US Safe Harbor is a compliance where a European customer, if has to put the data outside Europe, a vendor has to comply with this US Safe Harbor compliance. And Salesforce and Zoho, we are US Safe Harbor compliance. We have gone with the certified, and so the compliance ensures that the SMEs can take the data out of the cloud computing vendor at any point of time in a standard format. so that you don't cloud computing. You can always take your data back when this compliance ensures that your data is safe, and when the vendor is getting out of business, you always safe to take the data out. So that's about the innovation part, the concerns SMEs have. And now let me touch the business model. I think Rajiv has fairly touched on this point. So the cloud computing really makes a very affordable promise. So what I mean by that is, it makes a 90-10 promise. 90% of the features of the traditional business software at 10% of the price. Maybe a marketing lingo, but the point of I'm making is you get the software at a very fractional cost. Okay, because you don't have an capex. You don't need to invest on your servers. You don't have a capital expenditure. You don't need to invest on server. You don't need to invest on electricity. You don't need to have big IT teams. So all thing is pushed to the cloud, and all you need is an OpEx cost, and it's a subscription based. Okay, your subscription cost includes the software cost, the maintenance, the patch, the upgrades, right? Everything is being taken care by the subscription cost, and pay as a use model. Today you have, let's say, 5 salesperson, you pay only for the 5 salesperson, and next month you have 10 salesperson, you pay only for the 10 salesperson, right? Pay is getting into more of a utility like your electricity or mobile bills. Software is not so different from any other utility. I think we have overhyped the software, becoming as a utility, pay as a use model. I think Raju also touched that point. They also provide very cheaper option in India as well. And it also provide a flexible deployment options. Okay, what I mean by flexible deployment options is for small medium enterprises you can host it in the cloud, and for mid-size or large companies you can have a private cloud. For example, we have GE as a customer, General Electric, where they hosted everything in the private cloud in that data center. Okay, because they have their own data center and they are growing and they don't want everything. So we deployed all the our servers, all the cluster, all the grid into that environment, and that is the private cloud we have deployed in the GE environment computing provides. And free is something very, very interesting in this cloud computing space, because this gives an easy mechanism for SMEs to really get into, try the product, and if it really worked out, then they purchase the commercial version. Okay, and Google gives it, Google Apps gives it, we have 3 CRM users free, 4th user onwards we charge $12 per user per month. And freemium is nothing but people give few features for free, and advanced features you pay for it. So that kind of, it's very friendly business model for SMEs. Okay, so this is the most disruptive, I think business model is the most disruptive part of cloud computing for SMEs. I think this is a key factor for adoption among SMEs. Okay, apart from the innovation, jump into the success stories of cloud computing. As I picked a few success stories, especially from India SMEs. So this is one success story, Bharat BD, which is a great brand. They have a 30 BD great brand, and well, I'm not a smoker, so take it with a pinch of salt. They've been using Excel and desktop solution for the sales team and distribution and channel team, and they have a 10 salesperson, 10-person team, and they've been using in a ad way a desktop solution where people have a lot of spreadsheets, they integrate together, and they integrate in a way of integrating redundant data, stale data. You cannot do reporting or trending, or you cannot do a business intelligence out of it. So they moved to the cloud. They're using cloud CRM, Zoho CRM, mainly for 2 reasons. One is the cost. Okay, so they have saved 90% of the cost what they're using in the cloud in the desktop version. And another major part is the business intelligence. Okay, they cannot make business decisions out of the data they had. Okay, so they cannot really the data driven decisions cannot be made. They cannot do trending, forecasting, analysis, because everything data has been spread out a lot of places in the desktop solution they had, and with this place in the cloud, and all the salesperson are moving and they can access from the PC their PDAs, and it's very flexible for them. So this kind of business intelligence was a key factor for their success, and I'm sure this is a classic example of traditional business embracing cloud. Okay, and this is where the state of SMEs are there in today's Indian industry, This is a testimony of such a success story. And the second one is the non-profit group. They have done 300 plus 700 plus community services, and they have 3,500 volunteers. We started by the CTS employees, and they have been using Microsoft SharePoint. We all know Microsoft SharePoint is a very great tool, great collaboration platform, but it was kind of overkill, or it was too much for them. So what they did is, they've been using it for automating their financial management, account management, their volunteer management, stuff like that. So typically when the workflow changes, what they do is, they go back to the developer, they ask them to change the workflows. And then they try to come back and then host it, that kind of thing. So it's really a back and forth problem they had. And each time they change the workflow, they have to take the help from the developers. So they moved to the do-it-yourself platform or service, Zoho Creator. So they created all the custom workflows pertaining to their NGO, all the automation done by non-programmers, everything in a couple of days, moved everything from SharePoint to this thing. And each time they want to do customization, they can easily get with Zoho Creator. So that kind of flexibility and maintenance, of course, we all know each non-profit is different by itself, and each SMEs is different by itself. So this kind of platform service provides them to really embrace the cloud. And the final success story is the SU infrastructures. So this is a mid-sized company, Nagarjuna Sagar Dam in AP. They've been using the hosted email, and they moved to collaboration platform, not because of cost reasons. They're already using a cost-effective solution from Met4 India. They've been using hosted email for all the collaboration need. Email is most abused tool for the collaboration. It becomes really mess when you have back and forth emails. So that's where they moved to a collaboration platform. They had documents. They have all their email, all their wiki, all the project, all their CRM, everything moved in one platform, which provided by Zoho Business. So that way it was productive and collaborative for them. And so how cloud computing is help SMEs? So it is affordable, it is ease of use and convenience. You don't need to make any upfront investment. You pay as you use, and of course it improves the productivity and collaboration among the workforce. Okay. And what kind of cloud application will be useful for the SMEs? So Zoho provides all these applications, CRM. For CRM, you have other alternatives, Salesforce, business email, you have Google, Office, of course, Google Docs, project management, you have 37 signals, and then do-it-yourself applications. There's force.com, and of course at Zoho we give a Zoho Creator as a service. And yeah, so many analysts predict that I think the browser becoming the OS, and I'm sure like in next 10 years, I'm sure most of the software will be moved to the cloud. So I think with that prediction, I'll end my presentation. Thank you.
I think he gave a very informative overview, the tremendous value proposition that it poses to SMEs. I'm also very happy that he could touch upon the various, I hope, Coimbatore being such an entrepreneurial city, we have many more success stories of very successful IT adoptions. Well, next on the prowl is Mr. T.S. Hyther, Regional General Manager, South Nokia Limited, who's going to talk about the next gold mine, mobile applications. Before he starts, if I may quote Sunil Bharti Mittal, the founder of Bharti, quote, "We live in a world without borders and boundaries. As a result of this mobile revolution, the world is only restricted by your imagination." Sridhar, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Prashant. Thanks, Coimbatore. Thanks, Mr. Ashok Bhaktavachalam. Okay, I'm the last speaker here. You are a very intelligent audience. Okay. Mobile applications, the next gold mine. To add to it, before I start off and get into a spiel as to what is mobile applications and what is the current scenario at the moment and what's the opportunities in store and what you can expect out of it. These are questions which should be in your top of your mind. First and foremost thing, is it the big